A woman surrounded by angels carries within her an aura of peace, safety, and spiritual certainty that transcends human understanding. It is as though the very air around her vibrates with a silent promise. No harm shall befall her, for she is under the watchful eyes of the divine. Divine protection and guidance are not always visible to the physical eye, yet their presence can be deeply felt. They manifest in the quiet whispers of intuition, in the subtle redirections of life's path, and in the inexplicable moments of safety that defy logic. For this woman, angels are not merely symbolic figures of art or religion. They are active participants in her life's journey, surrounding her like an unbreakable shield. And when she steps into the world, she carries no arrogance about her protection. Instead, she walks with humility, knowing that her safety is not the result of luck or human strength alone. Her guardians are spiritual beings who stand at the intersection of the seen and unseen, guiding her toward opportunities, steering her away from dangers she may never even know existed, and providing her with the clarity to make wise choices. At times, she may face storms, moments of chaos, uncertainty, or even heartbreak, but even then, she does not crumble. She understands that divine protection is not the absence of trials. It is the assurance that no matter how fierce the battle, she will emerge whole, refined, and stronger. And her guidance comes in many forms. Sometimes it is a sudden feeling in her heart that warns her not to go down a certain road, not to trust a certain voice, or not to make a certain decision. Other times it is the gentle nudge towards something unexpected, a conversation that leads to a new blessing, a delay that ends up saving her from harm, or an inner conviction that keeps her grounded when the world pushes her toward compromise. To others, these may seem like coincidences, but she knows better. She understands that angels often work quietly, orchestrating circumstances without demanding recognition. And the beauty of this divine companionship is that it empowers her to live without fear. Fear is a thief. It steals peace, limits growth, and blinds the heart to opportunities. But this woman, anchored in the awareness that she is never alone, refuses to be controlled by it. She can face uncertainty with confidence because she trusts that the same hands that held her yesterday will hold her tomorrow. This confidence is not loud or boastful. It is calm, rooted, and unshakable. It radiates from her in the way she speaks, in the way she treats others, and in the way she carries herself, even through adversity. And her protection is not only about physical safety, it extends to her spirit, her mind, and her emotional well-being. In a world full of negativity, she is guarded against the influence of toxic voices and destructive energies. She may hear the noise of criticism or jealousy, but it cannot penetrate the fortress built around her by divine grace. This is why she remains untainted by bitterness, even when wronged. She has learned to see beyond the immediate wound, understanding that her angels shield her from deeper harm by teaching her the art of letting go. And in moments of solitude, she often feels a quiet reassurance, a warmth in her soul that tells her she is exactly where she needs to be. This is the gentle language of divine guidance, a reminder that she does not have to chase approval or recognition from the world. She knows her worth because it has been affirmed by the highest authority. She is guided to places where her presence is needed, to people whose lives will be touched by her kindness, and to situations that will help her grow into her fullest potential. And the world might call it good instincts, NCTs, but for her, it is a sacred conversation between her and the unseen guardians assigned to her life. She listens, and because she listens, she rarely loses her way. And even if she stumbles, her angels do not abandon her. They stand close, lifting her up, brushing off the dust, and guiding her steps once again. This is the beauty of divine protection. It does not demand perfection. It only asks for faith and trust. And this woman's life is a living testimony that divine protection is real and constant. She can look back on moments where disaster seemed inevitable, yet somehow she emerged untouched. She remembers days when the path ahead seemed blocked, only to find new doors opening in unexpected places. These are not random events. They are the marks of a life guided by something greater than fate. And her sense of safety also changes the way she treats others. Because she does not live in a constant state of fear, she can give freely of her time, her love, her compassion, without worrying that generosity will leave her empty. She trusts that the same divine hands that protect her will also provide for her. This trust allows her to become a safe space for others, a person whose presence brings comfort and peace. People often feel a sense of relief in her company without even knowing why. They are sensing the calm assurance of a woman who knows she is protected. And then yet, she is not naive. She understands that there are forces in the world that wish harm, that seek to discourage, and that thrive on chaos. But she does not fight them with anger or fear. She simply stands firm in the light that surrounds her, knowing darkness cannot overpower it. Her angels are not passive. They are warriors, ever watchful and ready to act. She draws courage from this truth, and it allows her to move forward boldly, even when the path ahead is uncertain. And every challenge she faces becomes another opportunity to witness the faithfulness of her guardians. Sometimes the guidance is clear and immediate. Other times it reveals itself only in hindsight. But whether the lesson is instant or gradual, she never doubts that her steps are being ordered with care. Even the detours, the unexpected delays, the unanswered prayers, the moments of loss are part of the larger plan to keep her aligned with her destiny. And over time, her relationship with divine protection deepens. She no longer asks, "Why me?" in times of trouble, because she understands that trials are often the refining fire that prepares her for greater blessings. She sees how her angels use every season of her life to shape her character, strengthen her resolve, and deepen her empathy for others. This perspective transforms her hardships into sacred training grounds and her victories into celebrations of divine faithfulness. And the woman surrounded by angels becomes a beacon in her community. Her very existence is a reminder that there is more to life than meets the eye. She inspires others to believe in their own protection, to trust in guidance even when it is unseen, and to cultivate the inner stillness needed to hear the whispers of wisdom. She knows that her angels are not hers alone. They are part of a vast network of divine helpers available to all who seek them. By living openly in her faith, she invites others to do the same. And ultimately, the essence of her divine protection is love, pure, unconditional, and unwavering. This love is the thread that connects her to her angels, to her purpose, and to the source of all goodness. It is the reason she can walk through a chaotic world without losing her center, why she can face uncertainty without losing hope, and why she can extend kindness without fear of being taken advantage of. Her angels do not just guard her body, they guard her heart, ensuring it remains open, generous, and unafraid. A woman surrounded by angels carries not only divine protection, but also a deep reservoir of inner strength and purity that sets her apart. Her resilience is not born out of stubbornness or pride. It is the natural fruit of a heart that is aligned with truth, compassion, and moral integrity. She understands that true strength is not measured by how loudly one can fight, but by how gracefully one can endure without losing one's essence. It is this very purity of spirit that draws the presence of angels to her side, for light is naturally attracted to light. And her inner strength is forged in the quiet moments when no one is watching, in the private battles where she must choose between what is easy and what is right. It comes from years of listening to the still, small voice within her that urges her to take the high road, even when the low road promises faster results. This strength is not the absence of struggle. In fact, it is often born from seasons of great struggle, but it is the refusal to allow struggle to corrupt the heart. She has known disappointment, betrayal, and loss. Yet each wound has only deepened her capacity for empathy, not bitterness. And this purity is not naive or blind to the realities of the world. She knows there is darkness, selfishness, and cruelty around her, yet she does not allow these forces to dictate who she becomes. Instead, she chooses to remain anchored in honesty, kindness, and grace, not because it is always easy, but because she knows these virtues are her power. She has learned that when she guards her heart from malice, envy, and resentment, she preserves the very energy that sustains her. Her angels guard her body, but her inner strength is what guards her soul. And the woman of inner strength is unshaken by the opinions of others. She does not seek validation from the crowd, nor does she crumble under criticism. This does not mean she is unfeeling. She values genuine counsel, but she refuses to let the shifting winds of public opinion steer her away from her convictions. Her worth is not for sale, and her values are not negotiable. This steadfastness is why she stands tall in a world that often bends under pressure. People may not always understand her choices, but they cannot deny the quiet authority she carries. And her purity is reflected in the way she treats others, even those who have wronged her. She does not seek revenge, for she knows that revenge poisons the heart. Instead, she releases bitterness like one releases a burden, trusting that life will balance the scales in its own time. This does not make her weak. It makes her unshakably strong, for it takes far more courage to forgive than to retaliate. Forgiveness is the armor that keeps her spirit uncorrupted, and it is this armor that allows her to keep walking forward without being weighed down by the past. And her angels are drawn to this purity because it makes her a vessel of peace. They can work more easily through her, guiding her toward people and places where her light is needed most. In a noisy and polluted world, she becomes a clear stream, refreshing, life-giving, and untainted. Those who encounter her often feel as though they have been reminded of something pure and good within themselves. This is no accident. It is the effect of a spirit that has chosen to remain clean despite the mud around it. And inner strength gives her the courage to say no when she needs to, and purity gives her the discernment to know when to say yes. She does not live to please everyone, for she understands that living truthfully will sometimes offend those who prefer deception. Still, she does not compromise. She moves through life with integrity, aware that every choice she makes is a seed planted in the garden of her destiny. Some seeds take time to grow, but she trusts that a harvest of righteousness will always follow the sowing of good. And her strength is not loud. It is steady. Like a mountain, she stands through seasons of sun and storms, unshaken by the changing weather. This steadiness inspires others who watch her endure with grace. They may not see the silent tears she has shed or the countless moments when she had to summon the will to keep going, but they see the outcome, her calm presence, her unwavering faith, and her refusal to be defined by defeat. This is the kind of strength that cannot be faked. It is earned through perseverance and refined through hardship. And purity also means that her motives are clean. She does not help others for recognition or personal gain. She helps because it is in her nature to do so. She gives without keeping score and loves without hidden agendas. People sense this authenticity, and it is why they trust her. In a world full of masks, she is unmasked. Her kindness is not a performance, but a natural expression of who she is. This sincerity is a rare and precious quality, and it makes her influence lasting. And the combination of inner strength and purity allows her to navigate life with both resilience and gentleness. She can stand firm without becoming hard, and she can remain soft without becoming weak. This balance is the secret to her power. She is not swayed by empty flattery, nor is she crushed by cruelty, because she knows that neither defines her. What defines her is her own commitment to live in alignment with the truth in her heart. And her angels celebrate every choice she makes to protect her inner light. They understand that the more she guards her purity, the more her strength grows, and the more she can fulfill her purpose. For her, strength and purity are not two separate traits, but two sides of the same coin. Strength protects purity from being corrupted, and purity ensures that strength is never misused. And she has learned that in the quiet battles of the soul, the greatest victory is not over the external enemy, but over the temptation to become someone she is not. This is why she can stand in the face of injustice and still speak with kindness, why she can endure betrayal and still believe in love, and why she can witness the cruelty of the world and still choose hope. Every time she makes this choice, her strength deepens and her purity shines brighter. And her life serves as a quiet challenge to those around her, to live with integrity, to stay soft in a hard world, and to find courage without losing compassion. People may not always remember her words, but they will remember how they felt in her presence, calm, seen, valued, and inspired to be better. This is the influence of inner strength and purity. It changes people without forcing them, and it uplifts without demanding recognition. And even when life tests her beyond what seems bearable, she refuses to let her trials define her identity. She may bend under the weight for a moment, but she will not break. Her roots are deep, anchored in the soil of faith, integrity, and compassion. The storms may rage, but when they pass, she still stands. This quiet endurance is the very thing that inspires her angels to keep surrounding her, for they know she will use her strength not just to protect herself, but to uplift others. And her purity also protects her from becoming a prisoner of her past. She does not cling to old mistakes, nor does she carry the labels others may try to place on her. She knows that purity is not about being flawless. It is about continually returning to the truth, washing away the dirt of the day, and refusing to let guilt or shame take root. This ability to start anew each morning is part of what makes her spirit so resilient. And over the years, her strength and purity become a kind of quiet authority. She does not need to shout to be heard, because her presence alone speaks volumes. When she enters a room, people sense the peace she carries and the boundaries she upholds. They know instinctively that she is not to be underestimated, not because she is aggressive, but because she is unshakably grounded in her values. And those who walk closely with her quickly learn that her strength is not just for herself. She uses it to shelter others, to be a safe place for the weary, and to stand up for those who cannot stand for themselves. Her purity ensures that when she fights uncertain times, and her faith also fuels her hope. She does not give in to cynicism, even when the world offers plenty of reasons to doubt humanity. She chooses to believe in the possibility of change, the power of love, and the certainty that light will always overcome darkness. This hope is not naive. It is forged in the knowledge that throughout history, goodness has prevailed, often against impossible odds. And so she chooses to align herself with that goodness, knowing that faith and hope are inseparable companions. And this foundation is not something she built overnight. It has been tested, stretched, and refined through the seasons of her life. There were times when she questioned, when she felt the weight of doubt pressing heavily on her chest. But rather than walking away from faith in those moments, she pressed deeper into it. She learned that questions are not enemies of faith. They are invitations to grow. Each time she sought answers, she found them, not always in the way she expected, but in ways that expanded her understanding and deepened her trust. And her angels are drawn to this unwavering faith because it gives them room to work freely in her life. Faith is like open hands, ready to receive what the divine wishes to give. Without it, blessings can go unnoticed or unaccepted. But because she trusts, she sees her life through a lens of gratitude, recognizing the small miracles that others might overlook, a timely phone call, a sudden opportunity, an unexpected solution to a long-standing problem. She does not dismiss these as coincidences, for she knows they are the subtle fingerprints of divine intervention. And faith also shields her from despair in seasons of loss. She understands that pain is temporary, and that there is always a bigger picture, even if she cannot see it in the moment. When she mourns, she does so with hope, believing that even in endings there are beginnings. She trusts that her angels are close in those moments, holding her when she feels she cannot stand, whispering strength into her soul, and guiding her through the darkness until she finds the light again. And because her life is grounded in faith, she is not easily tempted by shortcuts or dishonest gain. She believes that what is meant for her will come in its proper time, and that forcing what is not hers will only lead to regret. This patience is rare in a world that glorifies instant gratification, but it is one of her greatest strengths. She knows that waiting is not wasted time when it is done with trust. In fact, she sees waiting as an act of worship, a declaration that she believes in the timing of the one who guides her steps. And her faith also transforms her relationships. She loves deeply, but she does not cling desperately to people, for she understands that all connections are part of a divine design. Some are meant to stay, others to teach, and others to lead her into a new chapter. Because she trusts this process, she can release people without resentment when the season ends, and she can welcome new ones without fear. Her angels often work through these connections, bringing people into her life who will encourage her, challenge her, and help her grow. And faith gives her resilience when life feels unfair. She does not waste energy asking, "Why me?" but instead asks, "What can I learn from this?" She knows that every trial carries a lesson, and that the sooner she finds it, the sooner she can rise from the ashes stronger than before. This mindset does not eliminate pain, but it prevents pain from defining her. Her angels stand beside her in these moments, guiding her toward the lesson and helping her turn hardship into wisdom. And her faith also fuels her generosity. Because she believes in divine provision, she gives freely without fear of running out. She knows that kindness is never wasted, and that every seed sown will bear fruit in its own time. This abundance mindset allows her to pour into others without resentment, and in turn, she often finds her own needs met in unexpected ways. And over time, her foundation of faith becomes something unshakable. Life may shift around her, people may come and go, seasons may change, but the ground beneath her feet remains solid. She does not depend on the stability of circumstances, but on the constancy of the divine. This is why she can stand tall in the midst of chaos, why she can speak peace into fearful hearts, and why she can carry light into the darkest places without it being extinguished. And her angels delight in this strength of faith, for it makes her a partner in their work. They know she will listen, obey, and act on the guidance they give, even when it defies logic. And because she trusts so fully, she often walks into blessings that others miss, opportunities that others overlook, and miracles that others dismiss. A woman surrounded by angels is not only blessed for her own sake, she becomes a living source of inspiration to others. Her life, shaped by divine protection, inner strength, purity, and unwavering faith, radiates an energy that stirs something deep in the hearts of those who encounter her. She does not need to stand on a stage or give speeches to inspire. Her very presence speaks louder than words. People notice how she moves through life, how she responds to hardship, how she carries peace in the midst of chaos, and they begin to wonder what it is that gives her such quiet power. And in a world where so many are searching for stability, she becomes a living example of what it means to be anchored. Her calm in difficult situations is not just impressive, it is contagious. When others are anxious, she doesn't just offer empty encouragement, she embodies reassurance. She shows that it is possible to face challenges without being consumed by them, that it is possible to lead on to hope, even when the path ahead is unclear. This lived example has more impact than any lecture or motivational phrase, because people can see it in her actions day after day. And her inspiration comes not from perfection, but from authenticity. She does not pretend to be untouched by struggle or immune to pain. In fact, she allows people to see her moments of vulnerability, not for pity, but to show that strength and openness can coexist. She shares her lessons, her setbacks, and her moments of doubt, yet always frames them through the lens of resilience and faith. This makes her relatable, for those around her realize that inspiration does not come from a flawless life, but from the courage to keep going in spite of the flaws. And she becomes a guide for those who feel lost, not because she has all the answers, but because she knows how to listen. In her presence, people feel heard and understood. She doesn't rush to offer solutions. Instead, she offers space for others to find their own clarity. Her angels often work through her in these moments, guiding her to speak the right words or to simply offer silent support when words are not enough. Many people leave her presence lighter than when they came, even if they cannot explain why. And this ability to inspire others also comes from her refusal to be ruled by fear. She takes risks that align with her values, not recklessly, but courageously. She is willing to step into the unknown when her heart tells her it's the right thing to do. Watching her take these leaps gives others the courage to do the same. They see that her life is not shaped by clinging to comfort, but by trusting in a greater plan. Her actions give permission for others to believe that they, too, can move forward without having every step mapped out. And her inspiration is not limited to her words or her choices. It is also in the way she treats people. Whether speaking to someone powerful or someone overlooked, she offers the same respect and kindness. She does not measure people by their titles, wealth, or influence, but by the content of their character. In doing so, she challenges others to see beyond superficial measures of worth. Her fairness and compassion become a silent lesson, teaching those around her that true greatness lies in how we treat others when there is nothing to gain. And she also inspires by the way she handles conflict. When wronged, she does not lash out in revenge, but neither does she allow herself to be mistreated. She sets boundaries with grace, showing that it is possible to be both strong and kind. Her approach to difficult situations models a healthier way of living, proving that strength does not have to be loud and that boundaries can be drawn without bitterness. Those who observe her learn that it is possible to walk away from toxicity without carrying its poison. And her story becomes a beacon for those going through their own struggles. Whether they are facing loss, uncertainty, betrayal, or self-doubt, they see in her a living reminder that these moments are not the end. She has faced her own share of trials, yet here she stands, not broken, but refined. This gives others hope that they too can survive their storms and emerge stronger. It reminds them that their current season does not define their entire life. And because she is surrounded by angels, she carries an aura of peace that others can sense even before they know her well. There is something about the way she smiles, the way she listens, and the way she speaks that makes people feel safe. They may not consciously connect it to the divine, but they feel it nonetheless. This invisible yet undeniable presence encourages people to believe in something greater than themselves. In her, they see evidence that the spiritual and the everyday are not separate, but deeply intertwined, and her ability to inspire is amplified by her consistency. She does not only display kindness when it is convenient, nor does she only show faith when life is going well. She remains steady through changing seasons, and this steadfastness builds trust. People know that what they see is real because it does not disappear when circumstances shift. This reliability is rare, and it makes her influence even more powerful, because others know they can count on her example as a constant source of encouragement. And she does not see herself as better than others. In fact, she often humbly downplays her own strength. She recognizes that her ability to inspire comes from the divine source she draws from daily. Her angels are part of that source, guiding her interactions and ensuring that her influence is used for good. Because she understands that she is simply a vessel for something greater, she avoids the trap of pride. This humility allows her to connect with people from all walks of life without creating distance or hierarchy. And her life also challenges others to reconsider their own choices. Seeing her live with integrity, grace, and courage often prompts quiet reflection in those around her. They may begin to ask themselves hard questions. Am I living in alignment with my values? Am I letting fear hold me back? Am I treating people with the respect they deserve? In this way, her inspiration is not just about making people feel good. It is about encouraging them to grow. And over time, her influence ripples outward. The people she inspires go on to inspire others, creating a chain reaction of hope and courage. She may never know the full extent of her impact, for inspiration often works in unseen ways, taking root in hearts and blooming quietly over time. But whether she knows it or not, her presence shifts the atmosphere around her, leaving people better than she found them. And her angels take joy in this, for they know that part of their mission is to bring light into the world through her, by PR. Protecting her, guiding her, and strengthening her, they equip her to do the same for others. She becomes not only a recipient of